go over today a few definitions and some terminology that is really important for you to know on your weight loss journey. Starting off with calorie. It's a term that we all have heard, we all kind of know what it means, but not necessarily like the definition of it. So it's actually a unit of heat energy, and typically it's used to measure the energy value of food. This will come into play in a second once we get into macronutrients. Macronutrients are just the types of food that your body needs in large quantities. So these are your protein, your fat, and your carb. Protein has, for 1 gram of protein, has 4 calories. The role of protein is to build and repair tissues, and that applies to all tissues. It helps with building and repairing your bone, your skin, your hair, your fingernails, and most importantly for weight loss purposes, your muscle. When people say that they want to lose weight, what they really mean is they want to lose fat. Ideally, we want to retain as much of your muscle mass as possible while you're losing fat. In order to do that, we really want to prioritize eating protein. And as much as you're able, eating it throughout the day. In addition to building and repairing tissues, it also can boost your immune system. It plays important roles in hormone synthesis, and it's the most satiating of the macronutrients, which means it helps keep you full longer. The second macronutrient is carbohydrates, and veggies fall into the carbohydrate category, as do fruit, so those are all lumped in together. Again, 1 gram of carb has 4 calories. The role of carbs, especially whole food carbs from your veggies, your fruits, your whole grains, things like that, are to get in vitamins and minerals, which are also known as micronutrients, because you need them in smaller quantities, and also to provide fiber. Carbohydrates also play a role in digestion, in blood sugar regulation, and also in satisfaction, so making you feel satisfied when you're done eating. And then the third macronutrient is fats. Fats, for 1 gram of fat, there are 9 calories. So you'll notice that these are by far the most energy dense of your macronutrients. That does not mean that fats are bad. In fact, they play very important roles in your body, including your hormone function, nourishing your tissues, absorbing fat-soluble vitamins, and especially omega-3 fats, which are found in fatty fish, help with joint mobility, with decreasing inflammation, and with increasing your brain and your heart function. So typically the standard American diet is pretty low in omega-3s, so it's a good idea to supplement with a fish oil, especially when you're dieting. If you are cutting fats, you want to make sure that you're still getting a sufficient amount of omega-3s. The next terms I want to go over are calorie balance, calorie surplus, and calorie deficit. So calorie balance is when your intake is pretty much equal to your output. So what's going out is matching what's going in, you stay the same, you maintain your weight. This is the long-term goal, is that you reach a healthy weight and you pretty much stay at that weight long-term. A calorie surplus is how you gain weight. That's when your intake is greater than your output. A lot of times over the holidays, people will gain weight, which is pretty typical, it's pretty expected when you are exercising less, you're eating more, and you're probably eating more indulgent foods. So that is the recipe for a calorie surplus. Less output, more intake, that's a surplus, that's how you gain weight. Most important for weight loss purposes is a calorie deficit. Without a calorie deficit, you cannot lose weight. That is what it boils down to at the end of the day. To be in a deficit, your output needs to be greater than your input. So what contributes to your intake is pretty easy. That's your food and your drinks. What contributes to your output is a little bit more complex. 4 different things contribute to your output. Those are your basal metabolic rate, the thermic effect of food, the thermic effect of activity, and the non-exercise activity thermogenesis. So going right down that list, your basal metabolic rate, also known as your BMR, is the calories burned to keep you alive and functioning just as a blob. Like you woke up, you didn't get out of bed, you didn't eat, you didn't go to the bathroom, you didn't do anything except just like lay there as a blob. you're still burning a significant chunk of calories just to keep your body functioning, to keep your heart pumping, to keep your blood circulating, to keep breathing. You're burning a big chunk of calories that way. The second one is the thermic effect of food, and those are actually the calories that you burn through the digesting and absorbing of the foods that you're eating. The third one is the thermic effect of activity, which is the calories that you burn through exercise. So if you go for a run for a half hour or you go to the gym for an hour, that structured exercise time is your thermic effect of activity. Exercise is the easier way to say it. And then the last one is your need. And those are all the calories that you burn from other activity that's not structured exercise. So when you are just like kind of walking around your house, or you are tapping your leg, or you're gesturing, all of that burns little bits of calories at a time. And throughout the course of the day, that can add up to a pretty significant amount. So in order to lose weight, you have to be burning more calories from those 4 things than you are taking in from food and drinks. In the next video, I'll go over the easiest ways to create a calorie deficit.